Picture yourself standing in the heart of a serene forest. The air is crisp, carrying the scent of earth and dew. Above you, sunlight filters gently through a canopy of trees. And around you, the soft rustling of leaves whispers secrets as old as time. These whispers, timeless and profound, invite you to pause and reflect. What is strength? If you ask the world, strength often gets tangled in images of power, dominance over others, the size of your muscles, or the weight of your wallet. Yet, deep within the teachings of Zen and Buddhist philosophy lies a different truth. Strength isn't loud or overbearing. It doesn't shout or flaunt. Instead, it's quiet and unyielding, like the resilience of a mountain or the fluid adaptability of water. Water is an apt metaphor for this kind of strength. Think about it. Water flows effortlessly around obstacles, filling cracks, shaping rocks over time. It's soft yet powerful, adaptable yet constant. This is the essence of true strength, not in overpowering but in enduring, in nourishing, and in transforming. Now take a moment to reflect on your life. Have you ever felt that strength was measured by how much control you had? Maybe it's about keeping your emotions bottled up, pushing through challenges without ever showing a crack. But what if strength wasn't about resistance? What if it was about resilience, the ability to bend without breaking, to adapt and grow through life's inevitable storms? Zen wisdom offers us a refreshing lens through which to view strength. Imagine carrying a heavy load for miles, your back aching with each step. The moment you set it down, relief washes over you like a wave. This is the kind of liberation we're exploring today, a strength born from understanding, letting go, and embracing life as it is. In this video, we're delving deep into 6 profound signs of true strength that are rooted in the teachings of Zen and Buddhist philosophy. But this isn't just about philosophy, it's about real life. Together, we'll unravel these lessons through compelling stories, reflections, and practical insights. Perhaps you've already experienced glimpses of this strength in your own life, the moment you chose peace over conflict, the time you let go of something that no longer served you, or when you found joy in the simplicity of a quiet morning. Each of these moments is a reflection of an inner strength that's been with you all along. By the end of this journey, you'll see strength not as something to achieve, but as something to uncover, an inner power that's already within you, waiting to be awakened. So, as the whispers of the forest invite you to lean in and listen, let's embark on this journey together. What does it truly mean to be strong? Let's find out. 1. The power of letting go. Letting go is often misunderstood, mistaken as an act of surrender or weakness. But it is far from that. In truth, it is one of the most profound demonstrations of inner strength. Letting go is not about giving up, it's about letting life flow, trusting deeply that the path ahead, though unseen, will unfold as it should. Trust like this requires courage, a leap of faith into the unknown. It asks us to believe in something greater than our current understanding, to step beyond the boundaries of our comfort and embrace the possibility of growth. Imagine for a moment the weight of carrying a heavy bag for miles. Each step becomes more burdensome, the straps digging into your shoulders, your breath growing heavier. At some point, you realize that continuing to carry this load is not only exhausting but unnecessary. To put it down, to release it, is to reclaim your energy, your freedom. This is what letting go feels like, not a loss but a liberation. The story of the young seeker illustrates this beautifully. Burdened by his struggles, he approached a sage, seeking answers to the pain that clung to him like a shadow. The sage's response was not a lecture but a lesson. Handing the seeker a fistful of salt and a cup of water, he invited him to taste bitterness. The seeker winced, the salt overpowering the small vessel of water. Then, They moved to a vast lake, where the same salt dissolved into insignificance. The sage's words carried timeless wisdom: your suffering is like salt. Its bitterness depends on the vessel holding it. Expand your mind, and the pain will diminish. This simple metaphor holds a truth that resonates deeply with the human experience. Suffering, like the salt, is inevitable in life. Loss, disappointment, and heartbreak are threads in the fabric of our existence. But how we hold that suffering, whether we confine it to a small, rigid vessel or allow it to disperse into a larger, more expansive understanding, determines its impact. The act of letting go is not about erasing the salt, but about becoming the lake. Years ago, I faced my own moment of reckoning with this lesson. A relationship I had cherished fell apart, leaving me adrift in a sea of self-doubt. I clung to the pain, replaying moments in my mind, wondering where I went wrong. In those days, letting go felt impossible. The idea of releasing the hurt seemed to diminish its significance, as though moving forward would mean forgetting. But slowly, I began to understand that holding on wasn't honoring the relationship, it was imprisoning me in its shadow. By clinging to what no longer served me, I was preventing myself from healing, from opening my heart to new possibilities. The moment I let go, it was as though the weight lifted from my shoulders. It didn't happen overnight, but with each step away from the bitterness, I felt freer. I began to see the experience not as a failure but as a chapter of growth. The space I created by releasing the pain became a fertile ground for self-discovery. Letting go wasn't about discarding the memories, it was about transforming them into lessons that shaped the person I was becoming. Letting go is not always about relationships, it can be about anything we hold on to too tightly. Old habits, unfulfilled expectations, grudges, or even the fear of change can weigh us down. I once held on to the idea of a career path that no longer aligned with who I was. The thought of pivoting felt terrifying, as though it would invalidate years of effort. But when I finally released that outdated vision, I found opportunities one never imagined, work that felt aligned with my values and passions. Letting go often requires confronting the stories we tell ourselves. How often do we cling to something out of fear rather than love? How often do we hold on to pain because it feels familiar, even when it no longer serves us? Letting go means rewriting those narratives, stepping into the discomfort of change, and trusting in the unknown. It's important to remember that letting go doesn't mean forgetting or devaluing the past. It's about integrating those experiences into a broader perspective, allowing them to shape us without defining us. Think of a tree in autumn. It sheds its leaves, not because they were worthless, but because it knows that holding on to them would hinder its growth in the seasons to come. The tree trusts the cycle of renewal, the promise of spring. So, what are you holding on to that no longer serves you? It might be a resentment that drains your energy, a fear that keeps you rooted in place, or a dream that no longer aligns with who you've become. Releasing it isn't an act of weakness, it's an act of profound strength. It's a choice to make space for new possibilities, to breathe deeply and thrive. Letting go is an invitation to expand, to become the lake that holds life's inevitable salt without letting it overwhelm. It's an act of love for yourself, a gift of freedom and peace. Trust that as you release, you are not losing but making room for something greater. What waits for you on the other side of letting go? Only you can find out. Take the first step, and see where the flow of life carries you. 2. Embracing the present moment. Letting go opens the door to clarity, but clarity itself flourishes when we learn to anchor ourselves in the present. After all, what good is it to release the burdens of the past if our minds are constantly pulled back into their orbit? The present moment is the only thing that truly belongs to us. Yet it often slips through our fingers like sand as we fixate on regrets of yesterday or fears of tomorrow. The wisdom of Zen calls us back to this truth: when walking, walk; when eating, eat. At first glance, this may seem obvious, almost too simple to matter. But beneath its simplicity lies the profound challenge of actually living it. The story of the Zen monk tending his garden captures this beautifully. When asked what he would do if today were his last, he simply smiled and continued his work, answering, "Exactly what I am doing now." The monk's response wasn't one of indifference but of profound presence. For him, there was no need to rush into grand gestures or scramble to make the day memorable. Every action he took was already infused with purpose and meaning because he was fully there, experiencing each moment as it unfolded. I remember a moment in my own life that brought this lesson into sharp focus. It was a family dinner. One of those routine gatherings that we often take for granted. For once, I left my phone in another room, choosing to be fully present. It was startling how much I had been missing. I noticed the warmth of laughter echoing across the table, the small, familiar habits of those I loved, how my father always added extra pepper to his soup, or how my niece smiled before every bite of dessert. The food itself seemed richer, more flavorful, as if it had been waiting all along for my full attention. That evening wasn't extraordinary by any external measure, yet it felt deeply significant simply because I was present to experience it. So often, we let our minds carry us away from the moment at hand. We replay conversations, wondering what we could have said differently. We anticipate challenges that haven't yet arrived, preparing for outcomes that may never happen. Meanwhile, the present moment, the only reality we truly have, passes by unnoticed, like a precious gift unopened. The irony is that the present holds everything we seek: peace, clarity, connection. But to access it, we must consciously choose to be here, now. This doesn't mean we ignore the past or the future. Both have their place. The past teaches us, and the future inspires us. But dwelling too long in either robs us of the ability to act meaningfully in the present. Imagine you're carrying a glass of water, trying to navigate a winding path. If your gaze is fixed on the path behind you, you'll stumble. If you focus too far ahead, you might spill the water. But if you pay attention to each step as you take it, you'll walk steadily and keep the glass balanced. Living in the present is like this, steadying ourselves in the flow of life. Practicing presence doesn't require grand gestures or perfect circumstances. In fact, it often starts with small, simple acts. The next time you drink a cup of tea, try doing nothing else but savoring it. Notice the warmth of the cup in your hands, the aroma rising with the steam, the taste unfolding with each sip. It may seem insignificant, but these moments of mindfulness build a foundation for a richer, more connected life. When you're walking, feel the ground beneath your feet. When you're speaking with someone, really listen, not just to respond, but to understand. Being present can also deepen our relationships. How many times have we been physically with someone but mentally elsewhere? Half listening while scrolling through our phones or thinking about our to-do lists. Presence is a gift we give not only to ourselves but to others. It says, "I see you. I value this moment with you." It strengthens bonds and creates memories that linger far longer than the fleeting distractions we so often prioritize. There's a profound peace that comes with presence, a kind of stillness that quiets the constant chatter of the mind. When we're truly in the moment, we're not worrying about what's next or regretting what's past. Instead, we're fully alive, engaged with the beauty and complexity of life as it is. This doesn't mean every moment will be joyful or easy. But even in difficulty, presence allows us to face challenges with clarity and grace. I've often found that the most powerful moments in life are the ones we least expect, the soft light of dawn breaking through the window, the shared laughter with a stranger, the stillness of a quiet evening. These moments don't ask for anything but our attention. They don't need to be captured or shared, they need to be lived. And when we live them fully, they fill us with a quiet strength, a sense of connection to something greater than ourselves. So what would it look like to embrace the present moment today? Perhaps it means setting aside distractions and being fully there for a conversation. Maybe it's taking a walk without headphones, simply noticing the rhythm of your steps and the world around you. Or maybe it's sitting in stillness, letting the weight of the moment settle into your awareness. Whatever it is, start small. Presence is like a muscle, it grows stronger with practice. Life unfolds in the present, not in the past we can't change or the future we can't control. Each moment is an opportunity to begin again, to choose presence over distraction, to truly live rather than merely exist. And when we embrace the present, we discover a richness, a depth, that makes even the simplest acts feel extraordinary. What beauty might you find if you chose to be fully here, right now? 3. Compassion begins within. As we navigate life's storms and strive for simplicity, another essential truth emerges: compassion must begin within. So often, we direct our kindness outward, to friends, family, even strangers, yet forget to offer the same gentleness to ourselves. True strength, however, comes from turning that compassion inward, recognizing that we, too, deserve understanding, patience, and forgiveness. The story of the young monk struggling with meditation holds a profound lesson. Frustrated by his perceived failure, he lashed out at himself, harsh and unforgiving. Observing this, an elder gently asked, "Would you scold a bird for struggling to fly?" The monk, taken aback, shook his head. "Then why scold yourself for learning to grow?" This simple question reveals a deep truth: growth is messy, filled with missteps and imperfections. To criticize ourselves harshly for these natural struggles is to deny the humanity of our journey. I vividly recall a moment when I failed to extend that compassion to myself. It was my first public speaking engagement, and it went disastrously wrong. My hands trembled, my voice cracked, and I lost my train of thought more times than I could count. As I stepped off the stage, I was overwhelmed with embarrassment. My initial instinct was to berate myself, replaying every misstep in my mind. But then I paused. Instead of harsh self-criticism, I chose to reflect with kindness. I reminded myself that growth requires mistakes, that no one begins as an expert. That shift in mindset transformed the experience. What could have remained a source of shame became a valuable lesson, a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. Compassion for oneself is not indulgence, it is the foundation of resilience. Without it, the weight of our mistakes can crush us, preventing us from moving forward. With it, we create a space where growth becomes possible, where failure is not the end but a beginning. Imagine trying to nurture a plant while constantly criticizing its slow progress. It would wither under such conditions. But with care, patience, and understanding, it grows strong and vibrant. We are no different. Turning compassion inward doesn't mean excusing harmful behavior or avoiding accountability. It means acknowledging our imperfections with understanding, recognizing that mistakes are part of the human experience. When we stumble, it's not a sign of weakness but of effort, of trying to move forward despite the risks. This shift in perspective also changes how we view others. When we are kind to ourselves, we are better equipped to extend genuine compassion to those around us. I've noticed this in my own life. On days when I'm hardest on myself, I'm more likely to be impatient or critical of others. But when I treat myself with gentleness, it creates a ripple effect, allowing me to approach others with the same grace. One of the most powerful practices for cultivating self-compassion is reframing the inner dialogue. How often do we speak to ourselves in ways we would never address a friend? You're so stupid. You'll never get this right. Why even bother? These harsh words erode our confidence and spirit. What if, instead, we asked ourselves, what would I say to someone I love in this situation? Chances are, the answer would be far more supportive and understanding. Another practice is mindfulness, being present with our emotions without judgment. When we make a mistake or face a setback, our instinct is often to react with frustration or shame. But mindfulness teaches us to pause, to observe our feelings without attaching a story of failure or inadequacy. I'm feeling disappointed right now becomes a simple acknowledgement rather than a declaration of self-worth. This practice creates space for compassion to emerge. Self-compassion also involves setting boundaries, protecting ourselves from unnecessary harm. It's recognizing when to say no, when to rest, and when to prioritize our well-being over the demands of others. For years, I equated self-sacrifice with kindness, believing that putting others first was always the right choice. But I learned, often the hard way, that you cannot pour from an empty cup. By taking care of myself physically, emotionally, and mentally, I became more present and effective in caring for others. Strength is not about perfection, it's about showing ourselves the grace to grow, stumble, and rise again. It's about forgiving ourselves for past mistakes and believing in our capacity to learn from them. When we do this, we build an unshakable foundation of resilience, one that carries us through life's inevitable challenges. Consider for a moment, who in your life needs compassion today? And where in your life could you use more kindness toward yourself? Perhaps it's forgiving yourself for a decision that didn't turn out as planned or letting go of the pressure to always get it right. Maybe it's as simple as taking a moment to rest without guilt, recognizing that you are worthy of care, just as you are. When we embrace self-compassion, we begin to see our struggles not as failures but as opportunities for growth. We allow ourselves to be human, to be imperfect, and in doing so, we unlock the strength to keep moving forward. This strength, rooted in kindness, is the kind that endures, the kind that transforms not just our relationship with ourselves, but with the world around us. So be gentle with yourself. The journey of growth is not a straight path, but every step, every stumble, and every rise makes you stronger. 4. Anchored amid chaos. Life rarely unfolds as we plan it. The unexpected often appears when we least anticipate it, shaking the foundations of our certainty. And yet, in these moments of upheaval, true strength reveals itself, not through resistance or denial, but through our ability to remain steady, grounded, and open to what life presents. The story of the farmer captures this lesson with remarkable simplicity. When his horse ran away, his neighbors immediately labeled it bad luck. The farmer, however, refused to assign meaning so quickly. His calm response maybe hinted at a wisdom that saw beyond immediate circumstances. Each twist in the story, a herd of wild horses returning, his son breaking his leg, the exemption from the draft, was met with the same serene detachment. Maybe it wasn't indifference but a profound acceptance of life's unpredictability. The farmer's perspective reminds us that what seems like a curse today could reveal itself as a blessing tomorrow, or vice versa. This story resonates deeply because it mirrors the unpredictability we all face. I remember losing a job I loved, a position I had poured years of effort into. At the time, it felt like the ground beneath me had crumbled. Fear and self-doubt crept in, whispering questions about my worth and future. But as the days turned into weeks, I began to see the space this loss had created. For the first time in years, I had the freedom to reflect, to explore paths I had once dismissed as impractical. That unexpected disruption became the doorway to rediscovering my passion for writing, a passion that ultimately led to opportunities one couldn't have imagined. What the farmer's story and my own experience reveal is that strength doesn't lie in controlling every aspect of our lives. It lies in our ability to remain rooted amidst the chaos. To trust that even in the storm, there is a deeper rhythm guiding us. This is the essence of equanimity, the capacity to face life's highs and lows with the same calm, unwavering heart. It's not about denying the pain of loss or the joy of gain, but about embracing both as integral parts of the journey. Equanimity doesn't mean passivity. It doesn't ask us to sit idly by as challenges arise. Instead, it invites us to act with clarity and balance, unclouded by panic or attachment. Imagine you're in a boat on a choppy sea. You can't control the waves, but you can steady your grip on the oars. You can navigate, adapt, and adjust your course without losing your center. This is what it means to be anchored amid chaos, to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Practicing this kind of strength starts with perspective. When challenges arise, instead of immediately labeling them as good or bad, we can pause and ask, what is this moment teaching me? Sometimes the answer isn't immediate. It may take days, months, or even years to see the hidden blessings within a setback. But the act of asking shifts our mindset from resistance to curiosity, from fear to openness. I've seen this transformation in others, too. A close friend once faced the heartbreak of a failed business. For months, she mourned what she saw as the collapse of her dreams. But as she processed her grief, she began to realize how much she had learned about resilience, creativity, and the strength of her community. That knowledge became the foundation for her next venture, which not only succeeded but brought her a deeper sense of fulfillment than she had imagined possible. Strength also lies in the small, quiet moments of choice. It's choosing to breathe deeply when stress mounts, to take a step back when emotions flare, to find stillness in the noise. These moments may seem insignificant, but they build the muscle of resilience, allowing us to face life's larger storms with grace. Every time we choose calm over chaos, we reinforce our ability to remain anchored. Equanimity doesn't mean we won't feel pain, frustration, or disappointment. It means we don't let those feelings consume us. We acknowledge them, learn from them, and let them pass through us like clouds across the sky. This is easier said than done, of course, but like any skill, it strengthens with practice. Meditation, mindfulness, and journaling are powerful tools for cultivating this kind of inner balance. They help us tune into the present moment, where we can find stability even in uncertainty. One of the most powerful aspects of equanimity is the way it frees us from the need to control outcomes. So often, our suffering comes not from the events themselves, but from our resistance to them. Our insistence that life should unfold a certain way. When we let go of that resistance, we make space for peace. We learn to flow with life rather than against it, trusting that even the most challenging moments are part of a greater tapestry we may not yet fully see. Reflecting on your own life. What challenges have shaped you? What moments of chaos ultimately led to growth, connection, or unexpected opportunities? Perhaps it was a relationship that ended, forcing you to confront your independence. Or a move to a new city that felt overwhelming but expanded your horizons. These experiences, while difficult, often carry the seeds of transformation. Being anchored amid chaos is not about eliminating uncertainty but embracing it. It's about standing firm in the face of life's waves, knowing they will pass, and trusting that you have the strength to navigate them. This kind of strength isn't flashy or dramatic, it's quiet, steady, and profound. It's the strength of the farmers, maybe, the calm acceptance that allows us to find meaning and resilience even in the most unexpected twists of fate. When we cultivate this strength, we discover that life's curveballs don't have to knock us down. Instead, they can propel us forward, helping us grow into the people we are meant to become. 5. Joy and simplicity. Life's complexity often feels like an inevitable part of modern existence. We're surrounded by constant noise, endless options, and a culture that equates success with accumulation, more possessions, more achievements, more responsibilities. But what if true strength and joy lie not in having more but in embracing less? As we navigate life's chaos, there's something profoundly liberating about simplicity. It's a reminder that we don't need to add layers to find meaning. Sometimes it's about peeling them away. The Zen master's story beautifully encapsulates this idea. A traveler, accustomed to valuing possessions, was taken aback by the master's modest living. When he questioned the absence of belongings, the master's reply was both simple and profound. "Where are yours?" "I'm just passing through," the traveler answered. To which the master smiled and said, "So am I." The exchange highlights the transient nature of life and the futility of attaching ourselves to material things. It's not about rejecting possessions altogether, but understanding their place in our lives, tools to support us, not define us. This lesson resonated with me deeply during a personal journey of decluttering. My home, once filled with items I thought I needed, had become a source of stress. Drawers overflowed with things I hadn't used in years. Shelves displayed objects that held no meaning. And the weight of it all felt suffocating. I decided to take a step toward simplicity. At first, letting go of certain items was hard. Each one seemed to carry a story or a just-in-case scenario. But with every item I released, I felt a weight lift, not just physically but emotionally. By the end, my space felt clearer, my thoughts lighter, and my heart freer. Simplicity isn't about deprivation. It's not about living without, but about living with intention. It's asking yourself, what truly adds value to my life, and letting go of the rest. For me, it wasn't just about material things. It extended to my calendar, my commitments, and even my relationships. I began to say no to things that drained me and yes to what nourished me. The result wasn't just a cleaner home, but a clearer sense of purpose. This idea of simplicity extends beyond possessions. It's also about finding joy in the ordinary. How often do we overlook the simple pleasures of life, a warm cup of tea, a walk in nature, the laughter of a loved one? These moments, often dismissed as mundane, hold the kind of joy that can't be bought or planned. They remind us that happiness isn't found in grand achievements but in small, meaningful experiences. There's a quiet strength in simplicity. It takes courage to step away from the societal push for more and to redefine success on your own terms. It's not always easy. We're constantly bombarded with messages that equate happiness with having the latest gadget, the biggest house, or the most likes on social media. Choosing simplicity feels like swimming against the current. But in that choice lies freedom, the freedom to focus on what truly matters and let go of what doesn't. I've found that simplicity also fosters gratitude. When you strip away the excess, what remains becomes more vibrant and meaningful. A simple meal shared with loved ones feels richer when you're not distracted by unnecessary clutter. A quiet evening becomes a sanctuary rather than just another stretch of time to fill. Simplicity creates space for us to truly see and appreciate the beauty in our lives. It's important to note that simplicity looks different for everyone. For some, it might mean downsizing their belongings. For others, it could be simplifying their schedules or learning to be present without distraction. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. The essence of simplicity is not minimalism for its own sake, but creating a life that aligns with your values. As I embraced simplicity, I noticed a ripple effect. It didn't just change my environment, it changed my mindset. I became more mindful of how I spent my time and energy. I stopped chasing things that didn't truly matter and started cherishing the things that did. And in doing so, I discovered a deeper sense of contentment, one that wasn't tied to what I owned, but to how I lived. Reflecting on the Zen master's story, I realized that we're all just passing through. Life is fleeting, and our time here is precious. Why burden ourselves with things that weigh us down when we could focus on what lifts us up? The beauty of simplicity is that it doesn't ask us to give up everything, but to hold on to what matters most. It's not about having less, it's about making room for more joy, more connection, more meaning. So I ask you, what can you let go of to make space for joy? It might be a physical item, a draining commitment, or even an outdated belief about what you need to be happy. Whatever it is, trust that letting go isn't a loss, but a gain, a step toward a life filled with greater clarity, peace, and fulfillment. Simplicity isn't the absence of richness, it's the discovery of it in its purest form. 6. Challenges as opportunities. Simplicity opens a space for clarity. And in that clarity, we begin to see challenges not as threats, but as opportunities. Life, in its infinite complexity, often presents us with storms, unexpected, overwhelming, and at times, deeply unsettling. Yet, within these moments of turbulence lies the potential for transformation. Zen philosophy reminds us that obstacles are not roadblocks but the path itself, guiding us to deeper understanding and growth. The story of the monk whose monastery was destroyed by a storm captures this beautifully. Faced with the ruins of what he had built, he did not succumb to despair. Instead, he saw the destruction as a gift. This storm has cleared the way for a stronger foundation, he said, picking up the first stone to begin anew. His response wasn't born from blind optimism but from a profound trust in life's unfolding. He understood that challenges, though painful, can create space for something stronger, something better. In my own life, I've found this truth time and again. After experiencing a significant personal loss, I was left adrift, grappling with a sense of emptiness I couldn't shake. At first, I resisted the pain, trying to push it away or bury it under distractions. But the more I fought it, the heavier it seemed to grow. It wasn't until I turned toward the challenge, facing it head-on, that I began to heal. I started journaling, not with any specific goal in mind, but simply to pour my thoughts and emotions onto the page. What I found was clarity. The act of writing allowed me to make sense of my pain, to see patterns and lessons I hadn't noticed before. The loss didn't disappear, but it transformed. It became a source of wisdom, a reminder of my own resilience. Challenges have a way of refining us, like fire strengthening steel. They strip away our illusions, forcing us to confront what truly matters. But they also reveal our strength, the parts of ourselves we didn't know existed until we were tested. Think about a time when you faced adversity. Maybe it was a career setback, a relationship that ended, or a health scare. At the moment, it likely felt insurmountable. But looking back, can you see how it shaped you? How it taught you something about your own capacity for perseverance, creativity, or compassion? Viewing challenges as opportunities requires a shift in perspective. It's not about denying the pain or difficulty of the moment. It's about asking, what is this teaching me, and how can I grow from this? Sometimes, the lessons aren't immediately clear. It may take months or even years to see the value in a hardship. But when we trust that every experience holds meaning, we open ourselves to the possibility of transformation. I once met a woman who had lost her job unexpectedly. At first, she felt defeated. questioning her worth and direction. But as she navigated her way through the uncertainty, she discovered a passion for cooking she had long ignored. What started as a way to pass the time became a thriving business. Her challenge didn't just lead to a new career, it reconnected her with a part of herself she had forgotten. Her story is a testament to the fact that sometimes what feels like an ending is really a beginning. The beauty of challenges is that they often force us out of our comfort zones. They push us to think differently, to adapt, and to grow in ways we might never choose on our own. Like a tree growing stronger roots after a storm, we, too, can emerge from difficulty with a deeper foundation. But this growth doesn't happen passively, it requires effort, courage, and a willingness to engage with the discomfort. In these moments, small actions can make a big difference. When I was struggling with self-doubt during a particularly challenging project, I started breaking my tasks into tiny, manageable steps. Each small accomplishment built momentum, reminding me that progress, no matter how incremental, is still progress. Challenges can feel overwhelming when we look at them in their entirety. But when we focus on one step at a time, they become more approachable, more conquerable. Another lesson challenges teach us is the importance of community. When storms arise, we often feel the need to weather them alone, to prove our strength by facing them in solitude. But reaching out for support is not a sign of weakness, it's a recognition of our shared humanity. Some of the most profound growth in my life has come from conversations with friends, mentors, and even strangers who offered perspectives I hadn't considered. Their insights became guideposts, helping me navigate the storm with greater clarity. It's also worth noting that not all challenges come with immediate resolution. Some struggles linger, their lessons unfolding slowly over time. And that's okay. Growth is not a linear process. It's messy, unpredictable, and often uncomfortable. But it's also incredibly rewarding. Every challenge we face adds a layer to our resilience, a depth to our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. When I think about the monk rebuilding his monastery, I'm reminded of the power of starting over. It's not easy to rebuild after something falls apart. Whether it's a physical structure, a dream, or a relationship. But there's something deeply empowering about taking that first step. About choosing to create something new even when the path ahead feels uncertain. Each stone the monk placed was a declaration of hope, a commitment to the future. So how can you view your challenges as opportunities? It starts with a mindset of curiosity and openness. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What can I learn from this?" Embrace the discomfort, knowing that it's a sign of growth. Trust that even the most difficult moments are shaping you into a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. Life's struggles are not detours, they are the road itself. They lead us to unexpected places, revealing strengths we didn't know we had and connections we didn't know we needed. When we face them with courage and grace, we discover that within every challenge lies the seed of opportunity. It's up to us to nurture it, to allow it to grow into something beautiful and transformative. What will you create from the storms in your life? Life has a way of challenging us, testing our patience, our strength, and sometimes even our hope. But as we've explored today, Zen philosophy offers a gentle yet profound reminder: these challenges are not barriers, they are the path itself. Each struggle, no matter how overwhelming it seems, carries within it the seed of growth, the potential to reshape us into stronger, wiser, and more compassionate versions of ourselves. The story of the monk rebuilding his monastery after a devastating storm resonates deeply because it's a universal truth. Storms, both literal and metaphorical, are inevitable. Yet, how we respond defines the foundation we build for the future. The monk didn't see the storm as an end, but as a beginning. An opportunity to construct something even more resilient. That perspective is available to all of us if we choose to see life's challenges not as defeats, but as invitations to grow. Reflecting on my own journey, I realize how often the most painful moments have been the ones that taught me the most. They've forced me to pause, to reassess, and to discover strength I didn't know I had. Through loss, I found clarity. Through failure, I found determination. And through uncertainty, I found faith, not necessarily in a specific outcome, but in the process of becoming. What about you? What challenges have shaped your life? What lessons have emerged from the storms you faced? I invite you to share your experiences in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. By opening up, you're not only giving yourself the chance to reflect, but also offering a piece of positivity and connection to others in this community. Thank you for being part of this journey with me. Creating this video and sharing these insights wouldn't be possible without your time, your attention, and your willingness to explore these ideas together. Your presence here means so much, and I'm genuinely grateful for the opportunity to connect with you in this way. If today's video resonated with you, please let me know by hitting the like button. It's a small action, but it helps grow this community of seekers and learners. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you never miss an opportunity to reflect, grow, and discover together. Every week, we delve into topics like this, aiming to bring clarity, inspiration, and a sense of peace to your day. Finally, if there's a topic or question that's been on your mind, let me know in the comments. I'd love to explore it with you in a future video. This space is as much yours as it is mine. A place for dialogue, discovery, and shared growth. Remember, life's journey isn't about avoiding the storms, but learning to dance in the rain. Each step, each challenge, is shaping you into the incredible person you are meant to be. Thank you for watching, for sharing this moment, and for being part of this community. I can't wait to see you in the next video. Until then, take care, stay present, and keep embracing the beauty of your unique path.